The Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad is our guest this morning. Modou Njie will be with us until 9 o'clock. I'm going to start taking some questions. A couple have already been sent to you. We will start. Let's take the first of those. I understand your guest tomorrow will be Minister of Foreign Affairs, Modou Njie. That promises to be a very interesting session. There are two key issues I hope you might raise with him. First, what is the current Gambian foreign policy, particularly towards Senegal? This is especially intriguing given that the late Vice President Badara Diouf once remarked that the country has no known foreign policy. The long-standing cross-border trade dispute with Senegal dating back to the end of the Confederation in 1989 remains unresolved, despite the 10 years of Jawara, Jammeh, and now Barrow. Given the historically cordial relationship between Macky Sall and Adama Barrow, one would have expected a resolution before Sall's departure. How optimistic is the Barrow government now about building a productive relationship with the new PASTEF administration, which it, meaning the the Barrow administration, had previously opposed?
Thank you.
So let me just say that we do have a foreign policy, and
yes.
The minister has been kind enough to bring a copy. So this is my copy of the Gambia's foreign policy.
Right. Thank you very much for letting the public know that there has been a foreign policy, that have been crafted in the past.
Since May 1965.
Since 1965, May. Now, coming back to the question, I want to thank the sender. Well, the Gambia today, we maintain an excellent bilateral relations with Senegal. Under President Barrow's leadership, notable progress has been made in addressing cross-border trade challenges, especially following the two presidential council meetings. I hope you are aware that there has been two presidential council meetings,
I am, yes,
which significantly ease tension and improve trade. Unlike in the previous administration, of course, where borders were frequently closed and for a very long time too. President Barrow has paid several visits to Dakar, and reciprocated also by President Bassirou Diomaye Faye, while Vice President Jallow also paid several visits, and Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko also, the two vice presidents have exchanged, visits as well. Aside that, also a lot of cabinet ministers also travel to Senegal and meet with their counterparts with the cross-border trade, challenges. In fact, the Minister of Trade, they have done laudable steps in addressing this very important part. These are engagements that reflect a new commitment in deepening our relationship with Senegal. And I think this administration has done a lot to resolving these challenges. What is important is now those agents, our institutions that are handling maybe cross-border issues, those are the institutions that should work hand in hand and collaborate with each other. But at the highest level, there hasn't been any issue. But then institutions, both from Senegal and from Gambia, should try to work closely and harmonize most of these things so that they can ease up, the cross-border trade challenges. So Banjul and Dakar, they have very close partnership when it comes to cross-border trade.
So, okay, we know that Macky and President Barrow were very close. But the suggestion here is that, this government or this administration was opposed to PASTEF.
Well, I don't want to use opposed, but that is Senegalese politics. President Barrow is the president of the Republic of the Gambia. I don't think he will oppose to the current administration in Dakar. If that was the case, over the time when this administration assumed office in Dakar, there has been a lot of visits between Banjul and Dakar. So I don't think they really President Barrow is somebody who respects, democratic governance, who respects rule of law, who respects citizens, right, So, and I think, he's working closely with his brother, the president of Senegal, and I think that is, his, real,
So while Pastef were in opposition, yes, the Barrow administration was not opposed to it.
But you have to understand that they were then, in opposition now.
So it was okay.
So we are now currently talking about government.
Them.
We are talking about government. Whether he opposed them or not, I wouldn't want to say that. But then what I know is that now, then and now, is different.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. Second part of the guy's question: as an African nation and current chair of the OIC, which we know, actually is now inaccurate, what is the Gambia stance on the upcoming United Nations General Assembly, where several Western nations are expected to recognize a Palestinian state? Will President Barrow attend this historic gathering in the next 2 weeks?
Yes, as current chair of the OIC summit, the Gambia continues to reaffirm.
So we are chair only of an upcoming summit.
We are the chair of the summit.
What does that mean? It's not the entire 57.
No. Okay. Turkey is the current chair of the OIC. Okay?
So our chairmanship, how long did it last?
3 years. It should be 3 years.
Has it been 3 years already?
Not yet. It's, I think, 2027. Then.
Yeah. So why is Turkey chair when we are supposed to?
No, they are the chair, the president of the OIC. Those are the structural organizations of the organization.
This is complicated for us to understand.
Yes.
It's only you in
for
the
us,
diplomatic...
we are in the summit, yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes, exactly. Okay. So as current chair of the summit, the Gambia reaffirms its principle and support to the Palestinian cause. Like I have already mentioned to you at the just concluded extraordinary Council of Foreign Ministers meeting in Jeddah, the Ummah unanimously condemned, Israel's action in Gaza. And the Gambia, in its capacity as chair, we delivered a very strong statement, urging the international community to take decisive action. Regarding the upcoming UNGA, the United Nations General Assembly, His Excellency the President will not attend.
He will not?
Yes. The Gambian delegations will be led by the Vice President. Yes.
Okay. All right. That answers that question. Let me start by asking a question. How many lives must we lose before we say enough is enough? How many tears must a mother cry? How many young Gambian dreams must sink to the bottom of the Mediterranean before we open our eyes to the truth? Does the ministry have any standard database for missing Gambians in the sub-region from Libya, Tunisia, Mauritania, and Algeria? Do you have a database as to?
Yes, I may not be in a position to give a figure now, a database on that. I will consult with my Directorate for Migrations and Diaspora, and then I can provide that data. The situation is really serious, and Gambia is also very concerned, deeply concerned about the plight of our Gambians, that are currently in this kind of situation. And government is doing a lot to make sure that these situations are resolved. We are working with the Gambians, in the diaspora. We're working with our missions abroad. We are also working with our international partners. And these are the same message that we are also taking to the international level, so that at least the international world, the international community, being part of the Committee of Nations, these are some of the things that we should put, to the attention of the international community. And it's not only Gambians. I think almost the African continent is, affected by this, injustices that is happening in the world.
I don't envy your job. Huh? I don't envy you at all, because you might say, well, this is a question that the minister of, your colleague minister in the Ministry of Trade can best answer. Recently we've been sending young Gambians to Spain and Saudi Arabia for work,
yes.
which, sounds positive.
Yes.
But we've been hearing that in Saudi Arabia, we've had issues with a few of our girls.
Yes.
So, what can you tell us about that and what your ministry is doing?
We are part of the entire arrangements as Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Yes.
Because if you look at, our,
your
ministry,
yeah.
It's called the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, International Corporations and Gambians.
Abroad, yes.
Abroad.
If I travel, I expect to be covered by you.
Exactly. So this is all within the remits of circular migration. Mm-hmm. And of course, the circular migration seeks to provide opportunities for Gambians to travel to some countries and then to lawfully have the opportunity to be employed. Mm-hmm. Right. That is why, these agreements were, established. Mm-hmm. We had already the one in Spain, and we also have the one in Saudi Arabia, and I think also Qatar. Mm-hmm. The Minister of Trade also is updating and providing information to Cabinet at every level of engagement. Mm-hmm. Of course, when the first batch, arrived, at some point we understand there were some issues with regards to some of the, our nationals. In fact, what we had was that some of them, in fact, decided to, get out of the entire arrangement, and then they just escaped and went somewhere. Some do have some challenges in terms of their arrangement, and Trade is also working on this. But by and large, the entire concept is how we can make it, very fair, respect to, rights of citizens, and then to make sure that we work with our counterparts in that country to make sure that whatever they do is in line with the established protocol and arrangement according to the, agreements.
You mentioned former Ambassador Ibrahim Usman Dur. He's sent in a message. Let's read it. Good morning, Mr. Gomez. He says, congratulations to the Honorable Modou Njie, Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad. Congratulations also to the Honorable Minister and his team at MOFA in developing diplomatic guide that will be of essence for the diplomatic and consular corps. This is worthy of commendation. I hasten to add that in countries like Ghana, Kenya, and South Africa, honorary consuls undergo basic training in diplomatic practice and global protocol. This is a condition for the appointment of honorary consuls. May it be suggested that MOFA considers such a recommendation. Once again, congratulations to the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation, and Gambians Abroad and his team.
Thank you, Ambassador. Right, he's very right. When I mentioned the guide to diplomatic mission, Peter, you understand, I also had 9 years of diplomatic,
yes.
postings.
You told us about your posting to Turkey and India.
Yes, I had like almost 8 years as deputy head of mission and 1 year as ambassador. And this particular guide that we are now talking about is exactly what I have lifted from Turkey. And then, brought it, to my team for them to work on it. It's important to have that one. Very important for us to have this kind of documentations, with us. So Ambassador Ndur, I think soon we will engage. And like we have discussed, we will work with them. These are our retired, diplomats, very knowledgeable. So we will always consult with them.
Fantastic. Good morning, Uncle Peter, and your guest, Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, who once worked with me as State Guard Commander. He is a great and strong man in all areas. With his experience, I always count on him. He is down to earth, always, to everyone, particularly persons with disabilities throughout the country. And this is coming from the Chairman and Secretary General of the National Organization for Disabled and Orphans, Mr. Lamin Mane.
Mane.
Not sure. You still
He's my brother.
You still remember him?
Yes, he's my brother.
Okay. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Please ask the Minister why more Gambians and Senegalese seem more involved in migrations than any other countries in West Africa. Recently, a lot of Gambians and Senegalese perished in the sea, and this is from Mohammed. Why is it us, Senegambians?
Probably we need to do more research on the figures, but I think it is not only Gambia and Senegal. I think what is coming from the central part, the central region in West Africa is more than what is coming from the western part of Africa, West Africa here. I think the figures would tend to be more from what is coming from Ghana, Nigeria. I wouldn't want to mention some names, but I mean, of course, the figures can always show. I wouldn't have the data, but I think, we will do more to try to cope, the irregular migrations. And the best way for us is to make sure that whosoever wants to travel, you make sure you travel decently, rather than using
they like to travel decently, but when they go to these embassies, they don't give them
visas. Yes. Exactly. So
what can the foreign ministry do? I hear that in other countries, they fight for the quota allocated daily to go up.
Exactly. I think that is also talking about the kind of relationship that we can forge with these kind of countries, that our nationals will want to seek their documentation in terms of visa process. I mean, I think it is very difficult also to get visas from some of these countries, but definitely some people also, they travel genuinely.
Entering the
and
EU
I think
now
they
has
should be able
very
to
difficult.
Very difficult. But I think we will continue the engagement, both bilaterally and also multilaterally, and then to see what we can do.
Okay.
But it is important that at least, visas and other documentations from other countries, there should be some understanding.
Good morning, Uncle Peter and H.E. Njie. It's really good hearing the amazing strides undertaken by MOFA since your appointment. It's good to see some sort of protectiveness coming from the ministry. I hope the ministry takes a really good step in vetting and approving persons nominated to serve the Gambia through the UN system in the Gambia. Over the years and currently, we have seen a great deal of bullying and maltreatment inflicted on Gambian staff by some heads of agencies who wouldn't dare do such in other countries because they know government would put them in check. A good example is the current UNDP PR, who was PNG in Tanzania because of the way she was treated as staff, and is pretty much doing the same in the Gambia. Government through MOFA accepted her nomination as UNDP PR without due diligence. We hope this changes and a dialogue is held with UN heads of agencies on treatment of national staff. I mean, it is the responsibility of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs.
Yes. In the
not just only for Gambians abroad, but
everywhere.
Charity begins at home, they say, to protect the local staff first.
Of course. In the diplomatic environment, the least that we can expect is professionalism and good conduct of diplomats. We don't expect diplomats to maltreat, workers. That is absolutely against the code and conduct and the ethic of diplomacy. So what we expect is that they should respect the rights of those citizens, the rights of those, staffed. That should be given, the maximum respect and honor. So, of course, if anything is reported to be, an injustice meted against this individual, of course we have the institutions that would correct those actions. So those, once they are known, they should be reported. So
they should be reported to the ministry.
To the ministry and also to the law enforcement.
And you will protect their identity.
Of course.
Because with things like this is obviously somebody who is probably working in the UN system. Maybe is a victim of, whatever.
It's not right. You don't have to. You don't have to do that. It's not right.
Okay.
The diplomatic, environment.
But if somebody has been kicked out of a country for, poor behavior, why should Gambia accept them?
Well, we don't know at this moment whether that was the case.
Okay.
But it needs some kind of research. We need to go deep down, dive into it to see whether that was the case. So once we know that, definitely as a country, we should always, be watchful on those,
Okay. All right. Good morning, Uncle Peter and Honorable Minister Njie. Question: could you please ask the minister how many delegates are scheduled to travel to UNGA? Last year, it took almost a year before the government gave a figure for transparency and accountability. There's a second question, but let's answer this one first.
I don't know exactly how many people are traveling to UNGA.
We'll get Modou Cisse here.
Yes, I think the Office of the President will be able to provide information, but I think it's going to be a sizable delegation.
What's sizable to you?
Well, sizable meaning that those that are key in participating.
Let's talk in terms of figures. 12?
Well, I wouldn't know because this
25?
is the delegation of the Vice President. Maybe the Vice President office can give you that.
The second question is, what is the minister's best advice for Gambians abroad Is there any platform where Gambians can register? If there is none, what is the ministry doing to account for every Gambian abroad?
Yes. That is why ministry has already established the directorate responsible for diaspora and migration. This is a very important, directorate in my ministry. And I think they have been compiling the list of Gambians to have the accurate data. So I think very soon when I come back again, these are some of the things that I will provide answers
fantastic.
to all of these
The
things.
minister is promising to come back again.
Always, always, anytime.
All right, very good.
Yes.
It's what, 3.5 minutes to the top of the hour. I'll make this the last question and then give you an opportunity to round up. Good morning, Uncle Peter. Will the Honorable Minister lead the development of a foreign policy reflective of contemporary issues considering all the changes at home and around the world? Also, what is his plan to ensure that our missions are virtually accessible?
Yeah.
To start with, most of them have no functional website. That's a problem.
I mean, in this modern age now, I think a website is just very simple.
Well, it's being put to you now.
Yeah,
That most of your missions abroad don't have functional websites.
They should have these things. These are some of the things that we need to do when we are talking about,
So if your budget wasn't enough, go to the president and say, I was on radio, and people are saying, all our missions must have functional websites.
They should have website. I mean, these are something that...
No, they have websites. They are not functional. Yeah, that's the issue.
Why is it that they are not functional? That is the problem. We should know these things. In fact, now our next meeting is going to be with all of them, and I think these are some of the things that we will address. With the question, what was the other...
a new foreign policy reflective of contemporary issues, considering all the changes at home and around the world.
In fact, we've talked about the foreign service, regulations. This is very important. And this has been done with consultation of all our stakeholders. We want to bring in a document that is going to be well representative, that is going to address all the issues. So we are taking our time, and very soon I will present this to Cabinet. And this is going to be now the document that will shape the conduct of all our diplomats, all our foreign service officers. So, and not only that, usually we said Gambians, when you are abroad, we tell them that you are the Gambian ambassadors. Why we call citizens as our ambassadors? We expect that, representing the Gambia abroad is not only the business of the foreign ministry or our diplomatic staff, but every Gambian can be an ambassador to represent your country. Every Gambian should be given the opportunity to speak well about your country and then to address issues where they are raised so that you will have the opportunity. But you have to know that when you know our focus and our attention and our direction as a foreign ministry. So today, if everything is put before you and you know our visions, our missions, our mandates, our, whatever we do. So it's easy for you, wherever platform you find yourself, you should be able to answer, one or two questions referring to the foreign ministers, foreign policy architecture.
And speaking of answering questions, I mean, when we hear Gambians abroad, we immediately think remittances.
No, it's not about
the dollars, the euros that come and all of that. No. When you travel and Gambians meet you and talk about, their longing to be able to take part in our elections, how do you answer? It's now a region.
Yes.
It's now a region, the diaspora, but they're still fighting for the right, the basic right
to
participate in the election of their president, determining who runs their country.
Run their life. Yeah. Yes, I hope, this is something that, we will consider probably.
No, when they face you, how do you, how do you explain the situation, the status quo to them?
Well, we tell them that, yes, of course, that until we have the provisions in our laws, but then we note their concerns that they always want to participate in elections. But because of the procedural arrangement currently would not allow those kind of participations in our national elections.
Because they have to be registered in a constituency in the Gambia.
And I think they also know that. But I hope that, these are some of the things that, we will try to complete to give that kind of opportunity for our citizens abroad to be able to contribute also their voices and their, participation in our national elections. And I think this is a consideration that, government is doing, very well. So we note their concerns, and also we want to, be part of whatever they do in terms of their contribution to national development in this country.
And just finally, what message might you have, especially for migrants in Mauritania, Libya, Tunisia, and Algeria who are facing difficulties, perhaps in other countries we might not be aware of, because they will get to hear this interview.
Right.
So it would be nice to hear you connect, directly with them.
My message to our citizens abroad, the diaspora community, we are coming to be part of, the position to try to resolve, their situations. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs has the responsibility to work with them to make sure that their plights are being addressed. So we also welcome their contribution. We welcome the consultation that is currently going on. We are developing this strategy. We're developing, all this necessary policy and guidelines that will also address their challenges. All that we are asking them to do is that wherever they find themselves, let them be disciplined, let them observe, the laws of those countries, and let them always showcase that Gambia is a very disciplined country. Gambia is a country that respects culture and traditions. So we do not have those kind of problems, but we will continue to urge them to always work with local authorities and also to work with the foreign ministry here so that we will get to know the issues and address them. So we are ready as a team to work with them. But before I conclude also, let me take the opportunity to thank my predecessor, His Excellency Dr. Tangara.
What's he doing now?
He's working with AU as the special representative of the African Union to the Sahel, and then posted in Mali. I want to thank him for the kind of foreign policy, the laudable foreign policy that he has, put in, that has placed the Gambia in the international stage. And I am going to take it from there with the help of Gambians to uplift that, standard, and put it to higher heights. Together, I think we can do it. Not only myself or my team or the ministry, but I think it is a collective responsibility of Gambians to make sure that our foreign policy architecture is moved from this level to the highest level. We want to thank every Gambian and to thank you too. You are also part of us and your voice matters. We want to thank you for the opportunity that has been given to me and my team. Thank you.
Serigne Modou, thank you very much for coming. And you've given us, an extra 4 minutes. Serigne Modou Njie, the Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, our guest this morning. It's Coffee Time with Peter Gomez.
Jar Oil. The company have filling stations across the country, and our rates are relatively cheaper than anyone else across the country. Jar Oil is the biggest producer and distributor of cement in the country with the most competitive prices in the market.
Excellent jam, Suway.
Yo, apply. Yo, luta to dede. Luta mo nulo jel mo to nga andil mahalis. Hello?
Busel mo fine.
What?
Busel mo fine.
Oh, yes!
Wave Axina Gambia. Deposit and withdraw money, pay bills, and buy mobile credit without fees. Transfer money wherever in the country for only 1% fee. At Wave. Busel mo fine? Wave. Your money is yours.